So my name is Heather Deschaines, and I'm the manager of youth development programs here at the aquarium, and that's really just a fancy title that we lumped several programs under that are all serving youth, typically ages 13 and up. So to give you an example of some of the programs that we have here at the aquarium that are geared in particular to teens, we have our teen internship program, which provides opportunities for teens to both work and volunteer here at the aquarium in various roles and departments throughout the building. We have a summer camp for youth entering 4th through 9th grades that combines traditional camp activities and hands-on marine science in different field habitats all along coastal New England. We have a teen dive program that we internally affectionately call Sea Turtle. It's a nice acronym, but for those of you in the public, yes, we do diving for teens. We have the Marine Biologist in Training program, which is a series of science classes offered for teens. And we also have, what am I missing? The Live Blue Ambassador. It's a service learning program for teens, usually 13 and up, where teens can come and volunteer to support the aquarium's mission outside of our walls by taking part in community service. So tonight, I want to introduce you to 4 young women who I think are really shining examples of the impact that the experience in these programs can have on youth. We have Anna Klug, who was a counselor in training with our Harper Discovery summer camp during this past summer. We have Victoria Ostudillo, who was one of our student teachers in our Marine Biologist in Training program. We have Shoshana Minsk, who is a newly minted teen diver who just did her checkout dive in Rhode Island as part of our Sea Turtle program. And Fiona McGuire, who is one of our Live Blue ambassadors, who this summer helped to clean up the Charles River. She's been involved in projects in a number of different places. So each tonight will share their story of experience with you and reflect upon how that experience has helped to make them who they are today. So without any further ado, I think the first one up, and again, bear with me, is Fiona.
Hi everyone, my name is Fiona McGuire. I'm a senior at Boston Latin School. I live in Boston, and I started at the aquarium when I was going into 4th grade, so I was 9 years old, and I was a camper at the Harper Discoveries program. And ever since then, I've wanted to become more a part of the New England Aquarium, and I saw Live Blue Ambassadors as a great opportunity. And I was just so excited when I first joined Live Blue Ambassadors, and I was so excited that I finally found a program that was working towards the same causes as me and that had the same goals that I believed in. I'd never realized before that I was having so much fun doing, that I could have so much fun doing service work, or that I would meet so many great people. And it really gave me a chance to connect with other people and other teens that had the same interests as me. And we have a lot of fun together, although sometimes it can be a bit hard. The last event that we went on was an invasive species removal. So we went up to the Charles River and we removed invasive species, which are species that are harmful to the environment and they're not native there. And this was a water chestnut removal. So we went out on canoes with baskets and gloves and removed the water chestnuts. And it was fun, but it was also hard because there were a lot of bugs and we got water beetles in our canoe, and it was very muddy and a little bit messy, but overall we got a lot done, and it was really helpful for the Charles River, and it was just a great experience. So one of the things that Live Blue has taught me is that my efforts actually do make a difference while we do events and even outside of events when we go home. So we learn about stewardship and ways to protect the environment outside of the events, such as eating local, reducing water, composting, recycling. And they also encourage us to form our own clubs. And one of the things that some of the Live Blue ambassadors have done are create clubs at their own schools. I know at my school we started BLS Wave, Ocean Alliance, which we've been doing beach cleanups and educating the public, which is a really great opportunity, and we recently got a grant, so it's been working out really well. And another thing that Live Blue Ambassadors focuses on is public education. So we educate the public on the New England Aquarium's mission, And we encourage our friends and family to live more environmentally friendly and live blue like the ways I talked about before. We also focus on service learning and citizen science. Another great thing about Live Blue Ambassadors is that we are able to piggyback with other organizations that are in need of volunteers and that have similar goals as us, like the Charles Rivershed Association, or Charles Watershed Association, DCR, and Department of Marine Fisheries. Most LBA events take place in an outdoor setting, which is great because we get a chance to explore and be out in the environment, whether it be on the Charles River or in the forests. I think Live Blue Ambassadors will help me in the future because it's a good way to learn to be a better ocean steward and be aware of environmental issues. And I also aspire to be an oceanographer and environmentalist, so it's helped me a lot with that. And also, it doesn't end after we leave the event. We also are still able to help out on our own time. I just referenced the PowerPoint. The picture on the top right was the annual Charles River cleanup, and the bottom left is the Charles River water chestnut removal that I talked about. So overall, the Blue Ambassadors builds a community of teens who are inspired to promote a healthy environment, and it's just a great opportunity for teens, especially in the Boston area, to help the environment. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shosh. I'm a teen intern here at the England Aquarium, and I've been working here ever since July 2011. And I've had an amazing experience at the aquarium, and I think that it's one of the biggest reasons why I am who I am today, because before I joined the aquarium, I was a really lazy and unmotivated person, and I had awful grades. I was just really angry at the world, and I didn't want to apply to be a teen intern at all. I didn't want to have anything to do with a summer job or working or being responsible, but my mother told me that I had to apply for a job, so I thought this one would be the most fun one out of all the other boring summer jobs, and I applied. And even though I got my application in 5 minutes before it was due, and I showed up at the interview with no fancy clothes on and nothing prepared to say, I somehow got the job, and I've been working here ever since in the visitor education department, and because of that I have become a much more motivated person and a much more responsible person, and I know what I want to do with the rest of my life, which is really great. And in addition, I've gotten the chance to be involved with a ton of awesome experiences, and one of them is the Sea Turtle Dive program that I was a part of this past summer. If you guys are wondering, TURTLE is an acronym, and it stands for Teen Underwater Research, Teaching and Learning Experience. So we did get our dive certifications, but it wasn't the run-of-the-mill dive certification that you can get anywhere else. We went through a lot of classes, we did a ton of team-building experiences, and we became really, really close as a group. There were about 12 of us in the group, and it was really great. We also did a lot of field work while we were down in Rhode Island, which is where we got our certification. So we didn't only learn about diving, we also learned about the biology of New England and Rhode Island, and we learned about stewardship, which is something that I've been dealing with a lot ever since I started at the aquarium, but we found ways to really bring that into our diving experience, and it was a much more enriching experience because of that. So the Sea Turtle program was pretty strenuous, however. We had to, our applications included an essay, and then we had a group interview, which was pretty different. Then we had an individual interview, and after all of that, we had to go through an entire week of classes at the aquarium, watching really goofy videos about scuba diving, and taking tests and learning from our books. And then after that, there was a week of pool sessions at the MIT pool, where we learned a lot of skills that were really challenging before we went out into the open water to demonstrate that we knew how to do them so that we could get our certifications. And I'm really, really glad that we had to do all of those things, even though some of these skills that we had to learn were extremely challenging and I really didn't want to do some of them. it made me a much more confident person, and it really gave everyone a much stronger bond with everyone who we were with. There was one challenge that we had to do where we had to take off our mask and put it back on underwater. And after we put it back on, we had to clear the water out by blowing out through our nose. And that might not sound very hard, but it was really difficult for some of us. But we were able to help each other out. We were able to talk each other through it, and we all eventually did it. And we're really proud of ourselves for that. There was another challenge where we had to swim the entire length of the pool, breathing out and going into our regulator, our air hose. And we had to do it, and we couldn't breathe until we reached the surface, and that was really hard too, but it was something that we really needed to learn in case we ever had to do an emergency ascent to the surface while we were out diving. And that was really hard for some of us too, but we all got through it, and it made diving out in Rhode Island a lot better because we were a lot more confident about it, and we knew that if we ever got into a situation where it was dangerous, we would be able to work through it. So it was a great experience, and we all became such good friends. We all started working really well as a team. At the beginning of every dive, once we got down there, we all were able to help each other get into our gear really fast, and we got into the water super quickly, and we were able to spend a lot more time doing fun stuff because of all the team building that we had been working on for the entire month. So it was really great. And through the Sea Turtle program, I've gained a lot more confidence in myself because it's not a very easy, it's a really exciting thing, but it's sometimes really hard to be underwater and breathing and knowing that you're okay. But one of the biggest lessons that we learned was that as long as you're breathing, you're all right. Our amazing dive master, Sarah Taylor, who is one of the lead divers at the aquarium in the giant ocean tank, she told us that one time she actually threw up into her air hose, into her regulator, and she had to keep on swimming, and she was so sick, and she threw up in her air hose. And I can't even imagine that, but she told us that she was able to keep breathing, and she was fine. And that's something that I've taken to heart, both in diving and also kind of symbolically in life. As long as I'm breathing, I'm okay, which is something that I'm really proud that I learned. And I hope that someday I too will be able to throw up in my regulator. That would be awesome. But yeah, so it was an amazing experience, and I feel like I'm a lot more prepared for a career that has to do with the ocean now because I know a lot more about the biology of the ocean, and I'm not as scared of it as much anymore. And I'm really happy about that because I really want to go into a field that has to do with marine biology, and now I think I'm much more prepared, much more confident, and I think through the Sea Turtle program and through the teen internship here at the aquarium, I have become a much more capable adult and a much more responsible and mature person, and I know that I'll be able to do whatever I want to do in the future. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anna. I am a junior at the Cambridge Region Latin High School. It's located in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I've been working at the aquarium just this past summer, and it has been an amazing experience for me. The program that I worked in was the Harper Discoveries Camp, and in that program, we really focused on teaching campers what it means to become an ocean steward and living blue. And so ways that we've been able to do that are by just sharing our knowledge with them, telling them that they can do simple things at home, such as reduce, reuse, and recycle. But some really fun camp activities that we've been able to do to influence this are beach cleanups. So we actually took a trip to a Boston Island beach where we would clean up as much trash as we could find. And we also told them, again, that they could just do little things at home, such as using reusable water bottles and containers, even short showers. As much as we love having those nice long hot showers. We also told them that they can do bigger things. They can send letters to government officials or even companies that can try to reduce their waste that they produce from their industries. Another really fun thing that we do at the aquarium is we engage in hands-on marine investigations or explorations. We travel to Cape Cod, the Boston Harbor Islands, and they get to explore those different environments and ecosystems. We take them tide pooling so they can have little nets and they try to catch crabs or fish. And just watching them is just so fun because just seeing them, their faces light up when they even catch a crab, and then when we even just teach them more information about it, it's just an amazing experience. More hands-on things that we do at the camp, we have different arts and crafts. One that campers like a lot is our Create a Critter. So we'll have different strips of paper that will have different characteristics of different animals. So crabs, they'll have pinchers or antenna. And so they'll select different characteristics and they'll try to come up with their own critter that lives in the ocean. So that's another really fun one, just to see how creative kids can get. And just seeing their imagination just on the paper is just amazing. We also have weekly journals, and they get to keep track of different facts that they learn, different animals that they get to see. They get to learn a bunch of new vocabulary, and then they always end up teaching it to their parents, and their parents learn something new. And they pass it on to their friends, which is also really amazing. We also engage with the aquarium itself and its exhibits. A really fun thing that we get to do at the aquarium are overnights, and they occur every Thursday. And so every Thursday night we'll either travel to an island or we'll travel to Cape Cod and we'll go camping on a campsite. And at the aquarium we actually sleep in the aquarium with the jellyfish. And so there are absolutely no visitors in there, and it's just a whole new experience to witness. It is just amazing. And so when we sleep there, we actually sleep with the jellyfish, and we allow them to see the shark and ray tank at night. And so that's really when the sharks are out, because sharks are nocturnal, and it's just a whole new world to see there. We also explore the exhibits, and we go behind the scenes. So we show kids what it's really like to be working behind the aquarium. So all the tanks, all the food and stuff like that, what we really do to take care of these animals in the exhibits. And so we also allow them to even fish some or feed some of the salmon, which is really fun for the campers, and they are always really excited just to see them swarming around the food, just trying to get as much as they can. Another amazing highlight for campers is we even allow them to, on special occasions, to pet some of the sea lions, which not many people at all get to do. And so just I think that for an experience for them, it's just amazing. They always share it with everyone else, and they're always really happy about that. So our camp this year was actually extremely successful. We had about 224 kids, and so we had 32 kids each week. So it can be a handful, but it's really rewarding. And by the end of the week, you're exhausted, but you know that you've really influenced the lives of these kids, and that you've helped them to really protect our planet, to live blue, and to really become an ocean steward and help conserve our ocean. Also, while working here, it's really inspired me to become an environmental engineer. Before this, I always thought that engineering would be amazing, and I've always been excited about the environment, trying to protect the planet, really trying to conserve the environment too. And so why not just put them both together and really just work for protecting the environment. So, thank you.
Hey everyone, so my name is Victoria. I am 17 years old and a senior at Mount Alvernia High School, Many people probably haven't heard of that school, which explains the plaid skirt. And I live in Boston. I've lived in Boston my whole entire life. And because I do live in this awesome city, I've always gone to the aquarium ever since I was little, ever since I was probably able to walk and talk. And I would always beg my parents to take me there, and now that I think about it, I don't even want to know how much money they spent on tickets. I don't want to think about it. But same as Shosh, I've been involved in the program since July 2011 as a teen intern. And what I've been doing for the past year or so is visitor education. And so the name might be kind of, self-explanatory, but basically what I would do is I would walk around the aquarium and educate the public in many different ways, whether it was through an old skeleton or a skull that I had, or if it just meant standing by an exhibit and pointing out a really, really cool fish. And basically how I got involved was one day, my dad, because we were actually right on the harbor, he was like, "Hey Victoria, you've always gone to the aquarium, why don't you just work there? Wouldn't that make sense?" And I was like, yeah, why not? So he actually went online, got me the application, and next thing I knew, I was sitting in actually the exact same uniform at the interview, and I've been here for a whole entire year, and I absolutely love the program and everything about it. And so some of you might be wondering, well, how did I get involved in marine biologists in training? So as an educator, there was an opportunity for us to apply. We had to write an interview, or not an interview, we had to actually fill out questions, almost like a small paragraph. So it wasn't an easy thing to get into the marine biologist training program. So that opportunity was offered to me and I took it. And so my position was basically a junior instructor. So I basically helped out the senior instructors in any way I can, whether it was kind of getting the group of kids or teens that I was working with involved, or just kind of talking to each other, or organizing little homework assignments, or we call them fish missions because no one likes the word homework. So that's something that we came up with. And so through this program, I learned a whole bunch of things. One thing, I learned about career skills, professionalism, and being organized. Because I was put in a position where I was like a student teacher, it kind of switched the whole game for me. Before, when I was in the main building, I was randomly interacting with visitors, kind of getting their attention whenever I can, maybe creeping up behind them, trying to tell them a fact or something like that. But I was in a situation where it was a structured classroom, and I had all eyes on me at all times, including with the senior instructors. And so through that, I learned these skills. And I learned how to be organized through basically preparing educational plans for the students. And these students were just about my age. I was 16 at the time when I was working there. And we had 14, 15-year-olds, and even a couple of 16-year-olds. So that was really interesting to be teaching someone my own age. And so I learned to be organized because every morning before the kids came, all three of us, the senior instructors, Danny and Dave, we would kind of organize our day, what we would talk about, who would lead what. And so that's organization, because unlike randomly spitting out facts, I had a structure, I had a plan that I had to present. So that made me incredibly organized because it prepared me for giving out information and making sure that the teens that came were just full of information that they can handle. And I also learned how to be professional. And like I mentioned before, I was working with teens who were just my age. And so even though it's, you kind of expect you want to talk to them about the latest movie or that song or maybe a cute boy that they like or something like that, I learned that at all times I had to be in a professional position. I was a role model for them because whatever actions I did, it reflected off of them. So it really did feel like a teacher position because for those of you who may be in school, you notice teachers at all times have that carry themselves in a very professional way. So I learned how to do that at all times, and it's very helpful. It's incredibly helpful. And so I really liked it because I learned how to be a role model, and that was really fun because they're my age. And moving on to that, I have a really interesting story. So you probably heard me say a lot that these kids were my age. Well, I didn't tell them that. So I purposely made it a secret till the very last class that I didn't tell them my age. So the very last class, I asked them, we had about maybe 10 kids or so. I asked them, I said, so hey guys, I just want everyone to guess how old I am. And I was really preparing to see what numbers I would get. Some people said 21, 22, 23. I even got a 26. People actually thought I was 26-year-old and in grad school. No, I'm just a 17-year-old senior. And so I mentioned that. I was like, well, at the time I was 16. I said, well, hey guys, I'm actually 16 years old. And everyone's jaw just dropped. No one expected that someone their age could actually stand in front of a group of teens, basically, and present educational information. They were really shocked by that. And so what I learned through that was that I am capable of having a career in teaching. And at first, before being a junior instructor in the Marine Biologist and Training Program, I told myself, I said, I want to be a marine biologist, and I would love to be in the lab. I would love to collect samples, write down data, grow things, grow algae, take care of fish. But once I took this position, I learned something new about myself. That in the near future, I actually do want to get involved in education, which is why I have the apple up here, because that's the model of teachers, right? Teacher levels. So it actually switched, it did a complete 360 for my college plans. Originally, I wanted to take a whole bunch of sciences in order to become a field researcher in marine biology. But these teens that I was working with or teaching really inspired me to become a teacher and to educate in any way possible. So I'm currently looking for colleges. I'm looking for secondary school programs where I can actually be in a high school room and teach kids about marine biology. That's something that I'm really passionate about. And thanks to MBIT, I really want to do that. That is something that I'm pursuing. And so a lot of you might have heard about everyone talking about ocean stewardship. So previous to being a junior instructor, how I was an ocean steward, I was basically recycling, turning off lights in any way I can. I carry around a reusable water bottle with me all the time. And then afterwards, completing MBIT, I realized that I was an ocean steward in another way, in kind of a different way. I was an ocean steward by educating, by spreading the word, by teaching kids or teens that all these simple things can be done and can really make a big impact. The program was focused on fish, so we learned everything about fish, fish biology, habitats, fish threats that they're facing in the ocean. And so I learned that by just teaching kids from the very basics of the anatomy of a fish to where fish live to what's going on in the ocean that's affecting them in many different ways, that's being an ocean steward. It's spreading the word. It's educating. And when one person receives information, it's like a domino reaction. People are going to tell another person who tells another person until, before you know it, a whole group knows about fish threats that are going on. And I just thought that was really awesome. And it made me feel great that a program like this not only inspired me for a future career in education, but also it taught me how I can be an ocean steward in many different ways. And so these kids, these teens, really inspired me, and I'm so grateful that I was offered this position. And just by looking at the pictures, that's me in a turtle costume. I didn't do that throughout being a junior instructor, but I just thought that was a fun photo. And so I'm just standing out right there, and what we were doing in the top left picture right there is we were kind of using this giant line that represented the evolution of fish to where life started to and ended, all the way where we as humans started up. And then also, that picture right there, I'm behind Dave, he was a senior instructor. We have a group of our kids, and we have them do a lot of fun things. We asked them to take a piece of paper, and they had to sketch a fish that really caught their eye. And not sketching because drawing is fun, but they had to notice that different adaptations. Different fish have different ways of moving. If you look at the giant fish that we have over on the left side, see how it has a specific tail and a certain type of fin, compared to the giant marlin over there as another type. And that's what the kids realized, that's what the teens noticed. And so everything was educational based. And so going back to the aquarium, I am so thankful that a program like this has inspired me to do so many things in my life at such a young age. So once again, thanks to NBIT, or Marine Biologist in Training. I am pursuing a career in education once I am done with my senior year, and I'm also inspired to educate the public about ocean threats that are going on right now as we speak. Not only about fish, but also about other marine animals that are being affected as well. So thank you so much for your time and listening to my lecture.
So for all four of you, when you talk to your friends about what you do here, your friends from outside of the aquarium, what's the one thing that you tell them to kind of get that wow factor?
That's a great question. I guess when I talk about the aquarium to my friends on the outside, because I have all of the family here at the aquarium, I tell them that it's more than just learning, and it's more than just, reading a book about a certain type of animal or anything like that. It goes way beyond that. It's career opportunities. It's college opportunities, because they do offer scholarships here. So I would say it's more than it seems. There's a lot to it.
When I talk to my friends about the aquarium, or people that I know at my school, there is this one go-to fact that I have, and it's about sharks. Because believe it or not, people are afraid of sharks. And the thing that I always tell them is that 80% of all shark species, there are about 500 species of sharks, 80% of those never grow to be more than 4 to 5 feet long. So the next time you're in the ocean, and you're thinking about a huge shark coming to attack you, you're actually, the average shark is about this big, so that's the kind of shark that you would have to worry about. And you really don't have to worry about sharks at all, because they're really shy and non-aggressive. So that's what I always tell people, and they're really surprised to learn that, because the media and other things like that have made us really afraid of sharks, and we don't have to be at all.
For me, I end up I don't really drown them in facts, but I was just I'm always just oh, you have to do this, you have to do this. There are just so many different opportunities at the aquarium. Even if you may not want to work with kids, you can always do VE. You can really it's really a wide range of options, and it's just an amazing environment. You learn new people, you learn new career skills. You learn you just learn everything, everything from what it means to be professional, and so.
Well, when I was in Harper Discoveries, I used to brag that I got to sleep over at the aquarium, and I got to go behind the scenes and pet the seals and everything. When I'm talking about working in CP, I say that I got to actually work hands-on with the animals and teach other communities. And when I'm talking about Little Ambassadors, I'm just talking about all the experiences and opportunities that I have to go around the city and help the environment, and especially the fact that I got to go canoeing for a whole day for free and for fun. and it was for a good cause too.
Fiona, what's CP and what does it mean?
Oh, sorry. CP is I think Sho said it. I forget. It was community programs where we get to bring animals and teach kids about marine life around the community, and we bring them to libraries and community centers and camps, and just get to teach campers and everyone about how aquarium's missions and just about marine science.
So how do you juggle your schoolwork when you're working in the aquarium?
Wow. No, it's a lot of work, but you learn a lot about time management, because usually, especially on the weekends, you have the whole weekend to get your work done, but with the aquarium, if you're working during the school year, you work a whole day, 8 to 5 or 9 to 6, so you don't have a lot of time, but you learn a lot about managing your time wisely so that you can get everything done. And the amount of time you work, it's a lot, but it's definitely worth it, and it helps me to continue being motivated at school, and so it's really, really helpful to me, as well as being a challenge.
Well, another thing that I can say about that, you heard Sho talking about the summer where we had about 5 hours a week, 5 days a week. And during the school year, you only work on one weekend, so either a Saturday or a Sunday. Just like she said, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 8 to 5. And on every first Thursday of the month, we have what we call TNT, or Thursday Night Teens, where we gather here for just like 2 hours or so, and we talk about different things. We might talk about professionalism, or climate change, or how to eat sustainable seafood, or how to buy sustainable seafood. And so what's really nice about that, it's one Thursday out of the month. And if it was every Thursday of every month, that would get kind of complicated because people do have sports and different, activities outside of school. But what's really awesome about the program as well is that they're very flexible and they're very understanding of when you have a certain thing that you need to do. So if you have, like, let's say, a volleyball game during a TNT night, totally understandable. You can always ask someone what they talked about and stuff like that. And it really does teach you time management. I worked on Sundays last year during the school year, and I came up with a system where half of my homework got done on Friday, half on Saturday. So when I came back from work on Sunday, I can just relax and not stress out about anything. So you really do work around a schedule, and they're very flexible. They're always willing to help you in any way to really adjust to your schedule.